Again, welcome back to the NEC. Well, owing to that swift victory for her behind, what we're going to do is show you a fight that took place a little earlier between Sean Heron and Dave Owens. It's scheduled for 8 rounds. Barry McGuigan's joining me on the commentary, and we pick up the fight at the start of round 2.
Round 2.
Second round. No great fireworks in the first, but you get the feeling that Heron is like a bomb waiting to go off.
Yeah, he's very solid indeed, and he's definitely a good puncher. I see him opening his mouth there. I wonder, has he hurt his jaw? He's switching from southpaw to orthodox. What I don't like is he's dropping his hands quite often, and no matter how good you are, you can't afford to drop your hands with any guy when you're in there.
He does carry that right very low, doesn't he?
Yeah, he carries the right and left low, and you know, he's exposed to both an overarm right and a left hook. He's a solid puncher, but he's you know, dangerous tactics. This he's got too much for. He's definitely got too much for Owens, but he can't afford to do that as he steps up in class.
Owens, of course, vastly more experienced. He's had about 4 times as many fights as the Edinburgh boy. And the crowd, or at least some sections of it, getting a little bit frustrated by the comparative lack of action. Yeah. Well, that was the left, but it hardly seemed to connect.
Yeah,
no count.
Heard him with a body punch there. That's a nice right hand over the top. Watch Heron to finish the job now. He's very compact. If he thinks his opponent's hurt in any way, he'll put it all together.
Mike Donovan breaks him up. Owens didn't take a count then. Seemed more surprised than that for the second time this fight. Catches Heron with a right.
Yeah, again. Heron's got to watch that as he makes progress. He can't afford to leave his hands down like that. And this is a big solid guy. Good right hand, a good left hook. He's a good combination puncher and a good switch hitter too.
And Owens looks a little bit weary now. Those body shots are really hurting.
It would seem that a sustained attack here will finish Owens. There's no question about that. Heron is much the better and much the sharper puncher. Can't afford to hang that chin out like that. It's a vital mistake. I'm surprised Bobby Neal hasn't warned him about that before now.
He will. Right after this fight.
After this round, I should think.
About 10 seconds left of this second round. Had a brief knockdown. Maybe we can take another look at that in just a moment. Bobby Neal and Sean Heron. The whistles you can hear, not for those two gentlemen, but for the blonde who's carrying the ring cards.
This is the controversial knockdown. It looked to me like a body shot. He hit him with
like left hook to the chin.
It looked like a right hand to the body, delayed reaction punch to the body, and then he sort of staggered over.
Well,
he got up shaking his head, but it looked like it hurt him with the body punch. He looked a bit perturbed.
I think we're agreed on one thing, Jim. Whatever knocked him down, it certainly wasn't a slip. It was a genuine knockdown. But
Round 3.
third round, scheduled 8. Sean Heron in the tartan trunks. David Owens in the black. Owens been down once without a count in round 2.
Just come back with a good right hand there, Dave. If this kid doesn't hold his hands up, don't be surprised if he gets knocked on his butt. I'm telling you, he's taking chances here, walking forward, not using his jab enough, and letting the bombs go. But as he walks in, he's exposing his chin.
Owens has won 10 by KO, so we might find out if Heron's got a chin tonight.
Definitely a very compact and solid hitter on the inside, but as he walks in, he leaves his chin hanging out. Can't afford to do that.
I don't know what you feel about the switch hitting, Barry, but I prefer him to see getting the basics right before he starts fooling around from orthodox to southpaw and back again.
That's exactly. It's like learning to run before you walk. You've got to get your balance right. You've got to get your jab working, and then get your combinations going. You only use that switch hitting tactics if you get confused. So there's a good right hand he's after taking.
He
Heron
still keeps getting caught with that right hand. Owens isn't getting many through, but he's in each of the rounds so far, he's landed a right bang on the chin, and as Barry so rightly says, can't afford to take too many liberties in this game.
No. You notice how much more confident Owen has become in the last round, round and a half. He's starting to stand his ground now and trade a bit, which he hasn't been doing up until now. See, watch what Heron's doing. He's not using his jab. He's been out jabbed himself, yet he's trying to throw bombs from the outside. And as he walks in, he loads up and leaves his chin hanging out. He's not trying to use that jab. The bread and butter punch is the jab. That's the one you set up all your combinations with. There's a push. He threw him over there.
And Mike Donovan has a little word with Heron, who comes steaming back in.
One's coming back now using that jab. He's fighting more from the centre of the ring, pulling in and out of range and jabbing himself and connecting quite a few punches.
The jab that Heron's got, you can call it a jab, it's more a sort of flick from the elbow. End of the round. So in David Owens' corner now. And the corner must be getting a little more optimistic about this fight. Yeah. That was the push.
Yeah, that was a shove to the ground. We may see an example of that right hand that have been landing. Owens, he must be getting more confident at this stage. Certainly his corner's got to be telling him, the old guy in his corner's telling him, use that right hand. I can see him from here. Use the left jab and the right. And that's what he's got to do. Because he's well in the fight. Obviously, Heron has won the first couple of rounds, and but the only way for him to get back into this and to win the fight is to start exchanging punches from the centre of the ring.
Seconds out, round 4.
Fourth round now. And Sean Heron from Edinburgh in the tartan trunks. Probably in front by virtue of a good couple of early rounds, but David Owens, the Yorkshire boy in black, edging back into this fight now.
Yeah, this is definitely not a one-horse race by any chance. It's Heron's winning the fight, but Owen has come into the fight in the last round and a half. And he's starting to hit Heron more. Heron must have been told in the corner to start keeping his hands up and use that jab. That's what he's got to do if he wants to get rid of Owens.
Well, with Bobby Neal in the corner, one of the best in the business. Advisor and manager to champions past and present.
Yes, Bobby worked with Lloyd Honeyghan. He's worked with the best of them. And I'm sure he must have told him, you've got to keep your hands up, use that jab, and then they unloaded the combinations as you get close to him.
Well, bearing in mind that, as we said, Barry, Owens is a wily old bird, had over 40 fights. He's, to a sense, exposing Sean Heron's limitations tonight.
Yes, he has indeed. There's no question that he's not intimidated by Heron in any way. He's able to tuck up and take most of those body shots, although those pair there hurt him. He's coming back. He's starting to exchange blows in the centre of the ring. He's using the jab. He's out jabbing Heron, which shouldn't be the case. But he's out jabbing him, and he's hitting him with the occasional punch. But let's not get carried away. Heron's winning the fight.
That was a good solid straight left from Heron. He speared through his opponent's guard, jerking his head back. Oh yes.
There you go, you see, as soon as you use a jab, the right hand will come afterwards, and the combinations after that. Oh, he walks onto a good jab himself, Heron.
Every time you think Heron is just starting to dominate this fight, back comes Owens, and you start to wonder. I've got to say, Jim, the Scots boy's a bit too easy to hit for my liking.
Yeah, he's at this stage in his career, he's got to use his, he's got to start using his jab, and his combinations are brilliant, but he's not using the bread and butter punch. There's a good body shot.
Straight left.
Yeah.
Into the solar plexus.
Yeah. He's hurt
and
him.
that has distressed Owens.
Yeah. Got to keep on top of him now. Let's see what he can do. Oh, good right hand.
Owens forced to hold.
Coming to the end of the round, so he's got to make it quick.
Had a chance there to finish it, is Sean Heron. Oh, a gorgeous left hook. Right into the solar plexus. And that really affected David Owens. In Sean Heron's corner right now. And I would think Bobby Neal saying more of the same.
Get a glimpse of this body shot.
Beautiful.
Straight through the middle. Lovely shot. He had switched to southpaw, hit him with the left hand. And down Owens went. He's having most success with body punches, but to enable him to get in there, he's got to use that jab again. Bob and wave, get close, and then unload those body punches, which are wicked.
Fifth round. Sean Heron from Edinburgh in the tartan. And his opponent David Owens from Castleford in Yorkshire. Down briefly without taking account in the second. And in the last round, the fourth, very nearly had him going again with a peach of a left to the body. But had Owens doubled up but not down. You'd have thought, Barry, that Bobby Neal might have told Heron to pick the pace up in this round.
Yeah.
Because he must be feeling the effects of the body shots, Owens.
Yeah, he should take up the initiative now. I mean, I'm sure he hasn't overcome that body punch at this stage. Heron should be on top of him again. He's not using anything at all. He still has his hands down by his head, switching from southpaw to orthodox and doing nothing. He's got to pick up the momentum right away. Now there's a good body shot again. He's got plenty of the round left. He's got to continue with those body shots and just work Owens over. He's going to win this fight.
That's right. He knows exactly what to do. He knows the route to victory. It's the body. He knows he can hurt his man.
Nice punches to head and body. He just isn't throwing enough of them. He's got to, when he's on the ropes like that, he's got to start working, switching the angles, shuffle his feet to the side and work from the other angle. And he's got to get them hands up. I'm telling you, it's silly. The name of the game is not to get hit. Hit without being hit, and he's not doing the right thing, holding his hands down by his waist. He's got loads of power. There's another superb right hand over the top.
He's a durable bloke, this David Owens.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's a toughie.
Took this fight at short notice. Actually, it was probably the only way he could get into the NEC and watch the main event. Oh, it's an unusual feint with the right, to say the least, waving to his friends in the 3 and 9s, and Owens taking advantage to land a couple of crisp jabs.
he's going for the body all the time. He should be throwing head punches then switching to the body. The name of the game is to disguise your punches. They're the ones that have the effect, the ones that get through without you actually seeing them. So he's not disguising enough. He's just rushing in there with very solid looking punches. But of course he's not that experienced yet. This is a good experience for him. He's got to learn to be able to have patience and come back.
Left it too late for this round.
I'm afraid so. Owens with a distressed look in his face as he went back to the corner there. I think he was pleased to hear the bell. I don't know what sort of condition he's in. He has taken this fight at short notice, but he certainly has done well up to now to stick it out.
Yes, if there are any doubts at all about his fitness, we'll know soon enough.
There's that right hand and a left hook as Heron came forward. Notice the habit he has of opening his mouth. I don't know what that's for. I remember a guy called Adolfo Virubet who opened his mouth when he fought for the world lightweight title and got his jaw broke. So it's not a wise move.
Round 6. Sean Heron dominating proceedings. The boy from Edinburgh in the tartan trunks. And maybe Bobby Neal in the corner has told him to pep things up a bit.
I think what Owen was told was when he's unloading with punches from a distance to actually shuffle forward a bit, because if you watch Heron's actually staying there. He's just pulling his head back out of the way, but he's not getting back with his feet. So if you step forward with a shuffle, you can actually reach him with those punches. His hands are down by his side, and he has never changed that tactic throughout the fight. He's taken unnecessary chances and been hit with silly punches that he shouldn't be hit with, because he's leaving his hands around his waist. I think Owens is beginning to show the signs of wear and tear. He's beginning to feel the pace a bit. And Heron senses that he's piling on the pressure now.
But so often during this fight, we've seen Owens seemingly in trouble, coming back. And every so often he brings over that right, catches Heron flush on the jaw, and as Barry says, silly punches to take, really.
Well, the old fighters say don't take any punches. Everyone's a nail in your coffin, and you don't need to take any. You take enough in the gym, so he shouldn't be holding his hands down there. But I don't want to be too critical. He's only a young kid with a little bit of professional experience, so he's really coming on, and he's beginning to pile the pressure on Owens, and Owens is beginning to feel the pace. Those body shots are doing it.
Might have tried through straight up the middle. Might pay dividends for him.
Yeah, he's loading up with all his punches. He's inclined to show them, telegraph them a bit, and that's the reason Owen is actually seeing them before they hit him. He's got his hand up.
Some 20 seconds to go of this round.
It's an awful silly thing to do, to keep those hands down. I mean,
yes, he shuddered to think what a heavy puncher might have done to him.
Owens is going to last this round too.
And Sean Heron, I thought he was going back to the wrong corner then. Taps his man on the back.
I think he maybe thought he'd done enough. The 6 rounds is maybe the end of the fight. It must be a terrible disappointment to realise he's got 2 more rounds to do. I think that's actually what happened, Dave.
I think you're right.
He went to the end of the. He went to his opponent's corner, thinking that was the end of the round. He's got 2 more to do.
The good news is, though, he's getting paid for an 8-rounder. Actually, maybe only getting paid for a 6-rounder. Who knows?
With Barry Hearnshaw, I'm sure that he's getting well paid.
I'm sure he is. Well, Sean Heron finding himself with at least an extra round or maybe 2. One of the darker things you get in boxing sometimes at the end of the last round. Thought it was the end of the fight. Went over to congratulate David Owens and found to his amusement that a couple more to go. This is an 8-rounder. And you can't help but get the feeling, Barry, that Heron really should have had this all wrapped up and be back in the dressing room by now.
Yeah, I think so. We're maybe not giving Owens enough credit for his durability, but I mean, Heron had him in trouble 3 or 4 times and wasn't able to make a sustained effort and end the fight. But you know, as I said, he's only a young pro, and I think he was disappointed that the fight wasn't over 35 seconds ago. But he's coming back well, and he's still well in front. Well,
for a guy of 36, which David Owens is, he's really doing well. He's a little bit marked up now underneath both eyes, as he's taken some stick. But well, they say that boxing's a learning game, and I reckon that Heron will have learned a few little tricks of the trade tonight.
Well, the idea is to learn and not get hurt in the process. With his hands down that low, had Owen have been a better puncher, he might have learned a very severe lesson. And there's still time to go. He's still hanging that chin out, and there's still a round and a half to go. So, you know, don't be surprised if he lands one of those very solid punches. Heron's probably showing a bit of tiredness at this stage too. This is maybe the first time he's done 8 rounds, and he's beginning to feel the pace. Walked onto a good right hand there.
Well, we've seen some astonishing turnarounds in the last few weeks on Pro Box. Remember when Yakubia was so far behind against Alex Dixon in that light welter title fight, came back, KO'd his man in 11. Well, look at David Owens, that sort of puncher's chance.
That's what makes the game of boxing so exciting, is the knockout punch, and it can come at any time in the 12 rounds or 8 rounds or 10 rounds, whatever it may be.
And what Kevin Pritchard did to Hughie Ford.
Those body punches are beautiful. Oh, it's superb. Now you see, it's now that he should be making the sustained effort. He's still got, you know, a quarter of the round left. He should be on top of him now from the very start. No signs of fatigue. I think Heron is beginning to feel the pace himself. Owens has lasted that round too.
Yes, the 1 or 2 occasions that David Owens here has perhaps looked in danger of getting stopped. It's come too late in the round for Sean Heron to take any advantage of it.
There's that right hand, just grazed him, and it's the next body punch that hurts him more so than the head shots. It's that left hook to the body that really hurt him. A man of 36, he's an amazing character. He's both durable and fresh for a 36-year-old. If you're hanging around this game at 36, I don't think I'd fancy that either.
10 seconds.
Bobby Neal, I guess, relatively satisfied because Heron is well ahead on points.
Seconds out, the 8th and last round.
The old saying, of course, the old saying is, although Heron's in front, the fight till it's over, and we've got 3 minutes to go, and This guy Owens a tough cookie, I'll tell you. He's got a fairly good right hand, fairly decent right hand. Half of his wins have come on by KO, and he's got a chance.
Well, I reckon Owens will be more than happy to have gone the trip, having taken this fight at pretty short notice, and he's taken some damaging body shots, but he's stuck in there, and you've got to give him 10 out of 10 for that. And he's also, perhaps more satisfactorily from his viewpoint, he's caused Heron more than 1 or 2 problems.
Yeah. He's exposed Heron. He's obviously shown him that you don't knock over all these guys. There's a good right hand and a straight left afterwards. Now Heron has got to go back into the gym and start using that head movement. If he's not going to hold his hands up, he's got to bob and weave and use the head movement to take the sting out of the punches. My advice to him would be to get your bloody hands up, son. That's a silly mistake to fight anybody with your hands down by your waist, and you can't afford to take that chance. We saw recently what happened when the Bethnal Green welterweight knocked out.
Yes, Mickey Hughes.
Yes, Mickey Hughes. He knocked out
Jacobs.
Gary Jacobs
right.
with that left hook as he walked forward. He nice relaxed style, and at one time was trained by Bobby Neal, and made the mistake of hanging his chin out once too often, and Hughes knocked him spark out.
As we, of course, saw live on Pro Box. Well, Heron really doesn't want to get involved now. Time running out in this round. Well ahead on points. Doesn't want to mix it.
Clash of heads there, was there?
Little one, no damage.
Back to southpaw again. Walked onto another right hand.
Bobby Neal got a little work to do when they go back in the gym, that's for sure.
He's made a hard job of it. He could have made it easier. But it was a very good performance. He's thrown some lovely punches. He's hurt Owens. What I would have liked seeing him done was to finish the job with those combinations. You never know. Owens is hurt again.
Well, I hope he makes it, because he deserves to go the full trip. But that, if you like, really sums up the whole fight in a nutshell. Heron had his man on the hook, let him off it, and that's happened 3 or 4 times. 10 seconds to the end. Interesting to see how Mike Donovan scores this one. That's it. No surprises. We'll get the point score from Alan Hughes in just a moment. Your thoughts on that one finally, Barry?
Heron's a very good prospect. Some lovely punches, lovely combinations. Very relaxed, but in my opinion, too relaxed. He's got to hold his hands up. If he's not going to hold his hands up, he's got to learn to move his head more often.
And ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Donovan scores the contest. Dave Owens 77, Sean Heron 79.5. Sean Heron is the winner.
Well, a 5-round margin, about right. But
and ladies and gentlemen, your
Bobby Neal,
appreciation, please.
I fancy, although happy, will have a few things to say in the privacy of the dressing room to his boy.